Hey everyone, this is Mike. Welcome back to Real Life Counseling. It's been a few months, so I hope everyone is doing well. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the application of some of the counseling theories, choice theory, cognitive behavioral, rational motive behavior therapy, to the business world, whether it's a small business or a big corporation, even public government. There seems to be, since COVID, a lot of stress and pressure at work. A lot of people are working from home, and a lot of people have imposter syndrome, insecurity, and some anxiety. And if you manage people at any level, I suppose even teachers manage students in a sense. So. And I will have an upcoming video on the application of these things to education, public school and even college, graduate school. But I do think they have an application beyond just interpersonal, therapy. Most people, when they go to therapy as an individual, or as a couple, or as family, in some group therapy. But the more kind of personal counseling. But I think the concepts of choice theory, reality therapy, CBT, REBT, even solution-focused therapy. I did some videos on NLP. There is a wide application. So there's a couple of books that I wanted to share with you about the application. Some of these are somewhat old. So one of the first, for REBT, Albert Ellis did Executive Leadership, a Rational Approach. Now this goes back to even the 1970s, this book, and I don't believe he updated it, but the concepts, surprisingly or not surprisingly, are still very sound to this day. Obviously there's some updates. They didn't have all the things that we have today, but human nature doesn't change. And of course the idea is that people get anxious or frustrated or depressed because their thoughts about themselves are irrational, distorted, exaggerated, and so when you're managing people, really that is the biggest resource of a company. It's the people, and you want people who are confident, self-assured. Now, of course, imposter syndrome is not if a person is lacking a real set of skills. I mean, if a person doesn't know how to do the job, all the rational thinking in the world isn't going to change that. It's when you have qualified people who know what they're doing but don't believe they do, or they may not be as adept as they think, but they're stubborn about it, or they refuse to see it. And those are the people that you want to apply it from a managerial perspective, some of these techniques. And the way you do this as a manager, unlike a counselor, but even a counselor, you're not making people, you're not forcing people, but the person knows what they're getting into. They're getting into counseling, and that's the purpose. And as a manager, it's really more about asking questions and helping the employees see that perhaps they're mind reading or fortune telling. Perhaps with REBT, they have more demands. They're demanding things be different than they are, or they're catastrophizing. And the way you ask questions can help the employees put things into perspective, see themselves in a new light, feel more confident, more secure. A lot of, again, solution-focused and NLP is about asking the right questions, having a well-formed outcome, as NLP would say it, getting rid of some deletions in people's thoughts, or certain ways of communicating. And again, solution-focused as well. It's you want the best future and what you hope for and what the outcome is. And then how do you get there? How have you done that in the past, and how have you done that in the future? So you want to apply some of these concepts to the working world. Choice theory in particular has someone, the control theory manager, again the manager. He changed his from control theory to choice theory, William Glasser. But again, it's still very, very sound. This is something they did in the early 90s. And another author in the mid to late 90s did employee motivation. And again, these are ways of applying the choice theory, reality therapy concepts similar to the REBT in a manager, supervisor, employer, boss context, for the purpose of managing your resources, your most important resource, which is people, and again making them feel confident and competent and secure and happy and motivated. Again, to the extent that they have the basic skills or they're open to getting the skills if they don't have it. So, and to overcoming lack of motivation and procrastination. And again, those are not the same thing. Procrastination is when you have a reason for doing something. You know why you need to do something. And so there's not a lack of motivation. Now, it may be an external motivation. You may do something because you want to keep your job, but there is a motivation and you just can't get yourself to do it. That's procrastination. If you don't even have a why for why you're doing it, if you don't even have the reason it's being done, that's a motivation problem. Why am I even doing this? Where again, procrastination is why, you're just having a hard time doing it. So you want to increase a person's motivation and overcome procrastination. So again, the application of a lot of these skills can be helpful in a business setting, again, whether it's a small business, a large business, corporation, NGO, charity, even things like when you're managing people at any level, even schools, it can be beneficial. So again, I would encourage you to learn more about some of these techniques. Maybe some of you have known about it from your own personal life, but how it can actually help in the corporate world and help people think in a more rational, clear, objective way, and overcome some of the insecurities and lack of confidence and imposter syndrome that people have. I hope you benefit from this a little bit. I hope you're interested and intrigued in learning more, and I will speak to you next time. Thanks.